Members of the UN Security Council and Germany met with Iran's top diplomat today. The meeting intends to pave the way for the first round of negotiations on the nuclear issue since April. And although Iran's President Hassan Rouhani has adopted a more moderate approach than his predecessor, the U.S. remains skeptical that Iran's supreme leader will actually allow a change in course.
I don't believe this difficult history can be overcome overnight. The suspicions run too deep. But I do believe that if we can resolve the issue of Iran's nuclear program, that can serve as a major step down a long road towards a different relationship.
Mr. Obama and other U.S. officials say Iran must prove its commitment with actions, not just words. Well, for more on this, we turn now to our terrorism analyst, Eric Stakelbeck. Eric, what's with this newfound interest, even urgency, that we're seeing from Iran to revive negotiations over their nuclear program?
Well, look, Mark, Iran is really nearing the finishing line now with their nuclear weapons program. Even Israeli officials, Mark, said recently that Iran may have the bomb within 6 months. They are there. So what they're trying to do is play out the clock. Look, they had Mahmoud Ahmadinejad as their public face for a few years, Mark. And look, he's a guy who's denying the Holocaust in public. Not the best PR strategy. So I think, and I hate to say this, I think it was genius for the Iranian regime to hand-select Hassan Rouhani and put him out there. He's a guy who's going to speak in moderate tones. He's going to talk about peace, talk about dialogue. And Mark, literally, while he is talking Western leaders to death, Iranian leaders are going to develop weapons of mass death. That's the plan here. Play out the string until we wake up one day, Mark, and we find out that Iran has tested a nuclear bomb.
So he is being called a moderate, of course, but talk a little bit more about this. How moderate is he?
He is an anti-moderate, I would say. It's funny, Mark, because the mainstream media is portraying Rouhani as the anti-Ahmadinejad, really. This is a guy who studied in Scotland, worked on his doctorate there. He speaks fluent English. He's smiling. He's a religious cleric. Well, I'll tell you, Mark, the reality is much further from the truth. Look, this is a guy who was a devout disciple of the Ayatollah Khomeini from the very beginning of the Iranian Revolution, which means he subscribes to this ideology of wiping Israel off the map, of death to the West. He's played a key role in many top government positions in the Iranian government over the past 4 years. And just last week, Mark, in an interview on NBC, Ann Curry, the NBC reporter, asked him if he believed the Holocaust really happened. She asked him twice, Mark, and he could not answer directly. As a matter of fact, the day before Rouhani spoke at the UN General Assembly, he attended a military parade in Tehran where the Iranians were parading these long-range missiles and waving signs that read, "Israel must cease to exist." Hassan Rouhani was there, all smiles as this was going on.
Wow. Well, quickly, in the end, does Rouhani's willingness to negotiate matter? I mean, can't the Ayatollah override him?
Yeah, Mark, that's the key point. Look, this guy, he's the public face of the regime, the smiling face, but he masks a sinister agenda. At the end of the day, the supreme leader of Iran is the ultimate shot caller, the ultimate authority. And guess what? He wants a nuclear bomb. He's not going to give it up. And at the end of the day, Mark, that's all that matters, as does his desire to wipe Israel and America, people need to remember, off the map.
Wow, disturbing information. But thanks, Eric, for keeping us updated.
Thank you, Mark.
And don't forget to check out Eric's weekly show and blog, The Watchman. You can find that at our website, cbnnews.com.